Right, that's the stand completely finished. Holes all done. And everything is sealed, ready to go. Right, let's see if my measurements are correct and if it is going to actually fit here. I hope so. So, tried the stand, put the stand in, however, I didn't like it. It just looks bulky and minging. So, what I'm decided to do instead, so I've got this board, I'm going to screw this onto the wall. Handy tip to find your studs is to use one of your magnet cleaners. So this tells me there's a stud here, because obviously there's a screw, and I'm going to screw into there, and then I've got 3 screws here which I'll put raw plugs because there's no stud there. Then I'm going to put another panel on top of this, screw into this, into the wall. And then I'm going to put another panel, exact same as this here. And then I'll put a top on, and I'll put a bit of bracing either side and possibly a piece on the bottom. Because when you think about your tank stand, it's basically just the same thing. We always tend to overcompensate when it comes to stands, and I definitely although it wasn't as heavy duty as the one I did for the phytoplankton, once this was in place, oh my god, it just looked hideous. And I know the door was going to be hiding it, but every time I opened the door and I seen it, I just didn't like it because you could see the wall, whereas this is going to be completely framed with this white stuff there and there. I've got some more here that I've cut to size. So I just think this is going to be a nice cleaner look. Plus the other thing was, with the heavy stand, it was proven to be quite tricky when it comes time to remove this UV sterilizer, change a bulb. So change of plan, I've scrapped that idea and I'm going with this instead. So I'll just get this first piece into position and then we'll focus on the next piece. Right, that's the first one then. And this is solid, really secure, but I had to cut away some of the cable management just so that I could get that level. And the next thing I'm going to do is take this piece that I've marked as number 1 and I'm going to then screw that into this board. This tape is just here to tell me that that's where my screws are. And I'm going to put a bit of tape here and here, just so that I know that when I'm screwing in the other board to go in between, so that we don't hit screw on screw. Right, let's do it. Okay, that's the first 2 bits done. So this is absolutely solid now. In fact, I can actually maybe see me taking this. The holes, we'll just fill those in, give them a little paint, you won't see them. Right, next side. Right, so just putting the top on to make sure that it's level, and it is. So just a way to drill these holes, and this line is because inside the cabinet. Inside the cabinet there's a extra thick bit on this side. So you've got this thin 20mm piece of wood, but then on the inside there's like an extra bit. So that'll give me a good solid piece to screw into, and without going right through to the other side. Touch wood. So then the next plan is I'll get a piece to fit in the bottom here, which will then support the edges, and I'll also put a piece stretching along the top, and I think that should do it. Right, let's see. Right, so progress so far is got the top on. Now, slight little problem is I don't think the tank is perfectly level. Like, I think it needs to come out a little bit because it's spot on along the wall. It's not exactly perfect there, but that's okay, because what I'll do is I'm going to get some white silicone and we'll silicone all of this just in case any water does spill from the main tank. We don't want it getting down there. So that's that in place now. Just got all this on a bit, give it a bit of weight because I've got a bit of glue underneath. I've had my son standing on it, so it seems pretty strong. And to support the top, all I've done is I've screwed in another piece here into this, so that should help give this a bit of strength. And another piece here. So this piece, the plan of this is I'm going to stick this in here, so that'll be like that. This will allow me, still give me plenty of access, although I'm tempted to actually half this and use one on this side and possibly put one along the bottom, and then that'll just give this a little bit more support. But I think that's going to work out. Time will tell. Okay, so we're getting there. I'll just stick these little cup things onto all that screws, which has made it look a million times better because it was kind of ugly looking. And that's all done. So the next thing I'm going to do is, you may notice here that this bracing only comes so far because that I'm going to be drilling holes for the plumbing. And I've got this piece here, which is on my way to cut. It's going to be a butt support here, and I'm going to cut another piece of this, and I'm just going to create a shelf just for bits and bobs. May as well make the use of the storage, and it'll also be like another brace. Okay, right, I'll go and get this bits cut. We'll be back in a minute. Right, that's the back support in place. Next up is I'm just putting in a shelf, and found these in my toolbox from some flat pack that I never used or whatever. So handy, you need to throw stuff away. So just stick these in and then we'll get this shelf. A wee bit of tidying up to do like. That's it. Now we'll get the shelf in. Yay, that's it all done. and I must admit, this looks a million times better than the stand I previously built. The stand I previously built, it just kind of looked amateur. This definitely looks, in my opinion, a bit more professional. So, give myself a nice wee shelf, various bits and bobs, auto top off tank. The glass lid had this hole for pulling out with your finger, but I decided to stick this in, a wee green float thing in it. And because I'm not going to be taking this door on and off, so even if I just tilt the door, I can see straight away where the water level is with the green dot. Because obviously there won't be that much light going in there. Right, so that's it. Just got to get the tank in place, but a little bit of repairs to do on the wall. I've got to get the rest of this nano leaf off. Find a new home for that. Right, so this is not so easy when you've only got one hand. There we go. Done. So that's that in place. Now the reason that there's a fair gap here is because the other tank is about that much taller than this one. So I wanted to try and get them to be roughly the same, so along the top is going to be roughly the same, so just meant I had to build that stand slightly less lower down than this one to get the tanks looking the same at the top. Right, I'll give you a quick look at the tank. I'll go and get my lens though, 2 seconds. Okay, so I've got the lens on. Right, so as for the tank, guess what? The Dino came back. So not surprised really. But basically what I've done is I've turned the lights pretty much so they're just all blues, very little white, and they're only on for 6 hours each day. Even with the heavy feedings I've been doing, struggling to keep the nutrient levels up, so I'm dosing nitrate and I'm dosing phosphate, which absolutely blows my mind because it's a new tank and the skimmer, I haven't had the skimmer running since I got the blooming thing. It's just crazy. Never thought I would see the day where I've got no skimmer running and I'm actually having to dose nutrients to the system. Mental. But hey ho. So the Dino has pretty much gone, or is dead. And there's just little patches of Cyanobacteria, which is okay, I'm not too bothered about that. Clownfish, they've still got their eggs. They've got a pretty good spot here. They always used to lay them down low. When it was laid down low, damn TV just switched on. I had it on pause. What was I saying? Yeah, so when the clownfish had their eggs down low, they would always get picked on by the mandarins or staple gun or tang, or basically any fish would grab them first opportunity. But now that they've got them slightly higher up, there's not that many fish actually go up this height on this corner. So they've definitely found a good spot, and any fish normally just hovers around here and they're able to go down and chase it. So that's pretty cool. It'd be handy to get a tile on there at some point when I want to try breeding the eggs again. But I mean, yeah, despite actually having the the dinos come back, it's not looking too bad. Granted, the lights are only on for 6 hours a day, but and I would like to be able to enjoy it with a more white look. I'm not a fan of the blue. But so far things are going according to plan, I would say. You're not going to beat dinos in a week anyway. It just takes time. And the good thing is, I tried the UV sterilizer, tried the wee blackout, heavy feedings. This came back, so next step for me is to dose the nutrients, keep dosing the bacteria. Eventually we'll win this war. It's just going to take a wee while. But everything else is doing fantastic. My plate coral is looking really bony, nice and puffy. Oh, and another thing I've seen this morning, my pistol shrimp. I thought he was dead, but he isn't. What he's done is he's actually paired up with Jaws, the pink spot goby, and he's in that hole, and he comes out back and forth shoveling. That's why there's a wee pile there, shoveling the sand. Then he goes back in, and under this rock work here, the pistol shrimp and Jaws have created, must be like a heap of under tunnels, like, because I don't know if we can see this, right? There was like an opening in the back there, but they've just stacked that completely with sand. They've got another entrance there that they maintain, and Jaws usually comes in and out of that one. And if you see there, you can see all the sand, it's all piled up, so that stops anybody else getting in about. So it's mental, like. But it was really good. First thing in the morning, the tank lights hadn't even come on. I just put on the big light, and I could just see the pistol shrimp coming up and shoveling the sand. I was like, oh, that's brilliant. And I'm super happy that, excuse the whistle, super happy that he's teamed up with Jaws. Oh, I think Jaws is hearing me talk about him. You see him popped out of one of the, here he goes. He's popped his wee head out of one of the holes. There he goes. So like I say, they've got this wee network in here. They've got an exit there. I think there's another one that goes back the way, and then obviously that one there. So it's pretty cool. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this episode. The plumbing for the Refugium, it arrived. However, I got the wrong stuff. I ended up with, what is it? Metric or imperial? I can't even remember. Basically, there was the wrong ones anyway, so I had to send it all back. And then once I get refunded, I'll try again and reorder what I'm needing. Except I've kind of changed my mind. I was originally planning to have all the plumbing going through and then straight through into this, cut through here, but decided against that. And what I'm going to do is instead I'm going to use some black hose, and I don't know what it's called. It's like, I forget what it's called, but it's flexible anyway. And I'm just going to soft plumb it, just go straight round. One is going to go into the outlet, and the other one is the emergency, which is just going to go into the middle section. And I think that's just going to be the easiest. I'm just going to keep it simple. I'm not going to get fancy with the hard plumbing, especially now that trying to manoeuvre the back of there is going to be pretty difficult. So soft plumbing, the way to go, and it'll be fine and easy, fine and simple. The only change I'm going to do here is I may hard plumb part of this and have this hose connect onto a T-piece which has got a valve, and I can turn it so that the water is going into the Refugium, and then for whatever reason, if I want the water to go into the main display, like if I'm doing maintenance on the Refugium, or if I'm changing the miracle mud in the Refugium, switch off the flow from the Refugium, I'll just turn the valve so that the water just goes straight through, and the UV is continuing to work, but it's just pumping back into the top of the display as it is now. And then when I've finished doing my maintenance on the Refugium, I can just turn the valve and then it'll be feeding the Refugium again. Oh, catch a breath, JD. So that's the plan anyway. But yeah, I was hoping to get some new fish, but because when I put the stand in place, absolutely hated it. It just looked amateur as anything and ugly, and I thought, you know what, I've tried to do it the cheap way. I didn't like it. I'm not going to be happy with it. We're going to forgo the fish that I was planning on getting this month, and I'll spend the money on this cabinet. Now this cabinet, believe it or not, I think I've spent, must be about 100, it's over £100 anyway for this. Then I tell them this is, I think it's about 130 quid or something. But my opinion, it's definitely worth it. Definitely worth it. Because I mean, that's just fantastic. Let me get the light on. So, I'm going to be able to store, oh man, look at that. I couldn't have measured that better if I tried, eh? Oh well, so at least now I know what the size limitation is for putting stuff in there. So I'll be able to put on my feed, some nets or whatever. So that'll be fantastic. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked again. I'll just put that there now. So yep, that's it for this episode. Thank you for watching, and hopefully there'll be something a bit more exciting in the next one. But until then, bye bye.